Most people think grants are just for nonprofits or academics or big institutions. I used to think that too, but I've raised over $600,000 in grant funding. Not donations, not loans, actual non-repayable money to launch a school, train my team, and scale a multi-million-dollar business. And I'm not a university. I'm not a 501c3. I'm a business owner who figured out how to align my goals with state and federal priorities like job creation, workforce development, and here's the truth. If you're helping people, especially through education or employment, there is money out there for you too. So in this video, I'm breaking it all down. The grants I applied for, how I structured my proposals, what I wish I knew earlier, and how you can do it too, step by step. So this isn't some overnight thing. It takes strategy, clarity, and a bit of resilience. But if you stick with me, I'll show you how to build something that gets funded and change lives. Okay, let's start with the basics. What is a grant? A grant is money awarded to you or your business to solve a specific problem, typically one that aligns with public goals. That could mean helping underserved communities, creating jobs, training workers, or advancing education or healthcare. The key difference, you don't need to repay it. It's not a loan. It's not equity. It's money given with purpose and accountability. Now, let's talk about what it means to grant write or grant writing. Most people think it's just filling out forms or writing essays, but what it really is strategic storytelling. You're not begging for money. You're telling a story that proves your business is the solution to a real problem. It's storytelling because you need to connect on a human level. Your why is extremely important and it matters. When I applied for funding to support my massage therapy training program, I didn't just say, we need money for student tuition. I told the story of Brenda, a single mom working 2 jobs who wanted to become a licensed massage therapist to give her kids a better life. I explained how our program could take her from earning $15 an hour to $75 an hour within 6 months. It's strategy because you have to align your vision with the founder's mission. New Jersey had a statewide initiative to increase apprenticeship programs in healthcare and wellness. Instead of just submitting a grant for a general training, I proposed a licensed apprenticeship model that trained massage therapists while meeting the state goals of expanding registered apprenticeships in high demand fields. I didn't just ask for what I needed, I gave them what they needed. And that's how you win. It's structure because timelines, budgets, and outcomes must be crystal clear. In one of my grant applications, I broke down the 450-hour aesthetics programs I had into a 12-week schedule, outlined specific milestones like clinic hours, licensure exam preps, and externship placements, and paired each milestone with a clear budget, instructor hours, supplies, insurance, and so on. Funders don't like vague. They want to know exactly what they're paying for, when it's happening, and what the outcome will be. According to the U.S. Small Business Administration, the SBA, billions of dollars in federal and state local grants are awarded each year to support initiatives in workforce development, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Yet, most small business owners never apply because they don't know where to look or how to make the case that gets them noticed. And let's be frank, the biggest problem for small business owners is usually hiring. I don't come from the nonprofit world, I come from business. And I didn't start writing grants to save the world. I started because I needed money, real money, to do 3 things: hire qualified people, train them fast, and give them a pathway to earn 6 figures. When I launched my school, I noticed Governor Murphy in New Jersey was pushing hard to expand apprenticeships. That was my light bulb moment. I thought, wait a minute, this is a statewide priority. I just need to align with it. So I did my research, not just in New Jersey, but in Florida, Delaware, Georgia, Pennsylvania, where I operate too. I studied workforce board priorities, labor trends, funding cycles, and I noticed a pattern. Every state wants the same thing: a skilled workforce, fast. So I started building programs inside my business that helped the state hit their goals. And it was mutually beneficial. And here's what most people miss. Those programs didn't just serve the community, they also helped my businesses thrive. My grant funding training programs brought in new team members, created upsell opportunities, and gave me brand credibility that even marketing can't buy. That is the game, guys. And it's not about asking, it's about proving what you do creates impact. So now that you know how to tell your story and structure it for impact, let's talk about the parts that trip most people up. Where do you actually find these grants? Because the money is out there. You just need to know where to look. And I'm going to show you exactly where to start. So where do I even start looking for grants? The truth is, there's money out there and a lot of it. But it's not going to just fall into your lap. You have to know where to look, and more importantly, how to align your business goals with the mission behind the money. Let me break down how I did it and how you can too. The first place you're going to want to explore are government and workforce development grants. If you're building a business that creates jobs, train people, or helps your community grow, this is your lane, and that is most businesses. Let's start with the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act. This is a federal law that funnels billions of dollars each year into training and workforce programs across the US. Every state runs its own one-stop career center or workforce board, and they pay for things like job training, tuition for schools like mine, career coaching, and placement. Fun fact, in 2023, the U.S. Department of Labor allocated over $3.6 billion in WIOA funds across all 50 states. That's a lot of money, guys. Ask yourself, does your business train or hire people? Yes. Are you hiring and training from underserved communities? Are you looking to upskill folks coming from minimum wage roles? If so, WIOA funding might be waiting for you in your state. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the state level, right? So for example, if you're in New Jersey, you need to know about PACE and OPG. These grants help pre-apprenticeship programs and career schools cover everything from tuition, transportation, childcare, uniforms, you name it. They especially prioritize youth, people of color, low-income communities, displaced workers, unemployed workers, and women in non-traditional careers. In Florida, you got QRT and IWT, basically free money to train your team. Whether you're hiring new people or upskilling your staff, you already have these programs, and they're ran by the career sources in Florida to help you make that happen. In Pennsylvania, they offer the WedNet PA for employers to train their team, and pre-ETS for students with disabilities transitioning into the workforce. If you run a school or a business that helps students build real-world skills, that one is for you. Georgia has the Hope Career Grant, which covers tuitions for high demand fields. And their High Demand Career Initiative, HDCI, puts workforce dollars behind industries like healthcare, techs, logistics. Texas has the Skills Development Fund, which supports customized job training through community colleges and employers. If you've got a workforce training vision, Texas will help you fund it. And in Delaware, look at SEED for student tuition assistance and workforce training grants to support employers hiring and upskilling staff. Whatever state you're in, take time to research your state's workforce education and economic development programs. Many offer grant training funds or business incentives that could support the work you're already doing. When I launched my school, I applied for an educational grant. It helped cover tuition for students who needed career training. But let's be clear, you don't need to run a school or be a nonprofit to access education-based grants. If your business helps people gain real-world skills that lead to employment, you're already solving a problem states are actively trying to fund. Take this example. I know this trucking company that partnered with a local workforce board to train new CDL drivers. They weren't a school, they were a logistics business, but because they were solving a labor shortage in a high demand industry, they qualified for training grants that helped offset onboarding and instruction costs. That grant helped them hire 12 new drivers while reducing the out-of-pocket expense, and it helped the state meet its workforce placement goals. I know a lot of my viewers are in the logistics industry, so those types of grants could be extremely beneficial. So whether you're running a tech bootcamp, a nail salon that apprentices junior techs, or a construction firm that trains entry-level workers, grants might be on the table. The key is showing that your business creates pathways to employment. That's the outcome funders care about the most. Think of it like this. Grant funding is like venture capital, but for people development instead of profit. If you can show your returns and lives change, they'll fund it. So you might be saying, Jen, well, what exactly will get funded? Grants are available for launching career training programs, running pre-apprenticeships or registered apprenticeships, offering scholarships to underrepresented groups, or even building a pipeline to hire and train within your own company. With one of my businesses, I did exactly that. And this isn't just limited to traditional trades. Businesses in skilled trades like HVAC or plumbing, CDL logistics, IT, cybersecurity, hospitality, and personal care can all qualify. According to apprenticeships.gov, over 808,000 active apprentices were registered in 2023 alone, with a completion rate of about 93,000. That's not just opportunity, that's demand. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce also reports over 9 million job openings, many of which don't require a college degree, but do require some kind of certification or skill training. That's where small businesses and entrepreneurs can step in and get funded to fill those gaps. And as the National Skills Coalition notes, 52% of jobs in the U.S. are middle skill, but only 43% of the workforce is trained at that level. This mismatch is exactly exactly why so many grants exist and why your business may qualify, even if you never applied for one. From my own experience, the turning point, like I mentioned earlier, is when Governor Murphy in New Jersey launched a statewide push to expand apprenticeships. That initiative made me realize every state is investing in workforce development. I started paying attention to workforce priorities of the state I was operating in and aligning my work with those goals. And I'll be honest, it took a lot of time to learn each state's process. But once I did, the funding started to flow in. And let's not forget about local and regional business incentives and grants. Here's a mistake a lot of business owners make. They focus only on big national grants and overlook what's happening right in their own county. Local and regional grants are often less competitive and more accessible, especially if you're creating jobs, offering trainings, or operating in underserved zip codes. If you're in Florida, CareerSource doesn't just manage WIOA training grants, they also offer wage subsidies and on-the-job training dollars to employers directly. If you're hiring, they can reimburse you part of the wage while your new hire gets trained. This is huge, guys, especially for small business owners where the bottom line is extremely important. County-level workforce boards also offer discretionary funds. Many of them have budgets specific to sectors like hospitality, personal care, logistics, or tech, and will gladly partner with businesses that help them hit their employment targets. Urban enterprise zones and local economic development agencies are another powerful funding source. They offer tax incentives, wage subsidies, and hiring grants if you're setting up shop in targeted revitalization areas. These are especially useful for retail, wellness, food service, home healthcare, and transportation companies. According to the CareerSource's Florida's Training Grant Division, businesses that participate in their QRT, the Quick Response, and Incumbent Worker Training Program, IWT programs, reported up to 25% faster employee ramp-up time and stronger retention over the first 12 months. In my case, I've pitched my business to multiple one-stop and workforce boards, and let me be honest, it wasn't always simple. Each county had its own rules, staff forms, and expectations. In one state, I was working with 12 different career centers, in another, over 100. But once I stopped just explaining my business and started aligning it with their mission, job creation, reduce unemployment, skill development, things changed. I wasn't just a business, I became a solution for them. So whether you're running a massage school or a trucking company, whether you own a salon or a warehouse, if you're hiring people, training them, or helping them move up, there is grant money for you. So let's pivot a bit into how you actually write these grants and what founders are looking for when they decide who to invest in. And keep in mind, guys, you don't need to chase every grant out there. That's one of the biggest myths people believe. The truth is, you just have to show that what you're already doing solves a real workforce or community problem. That's how I was able to raise $600,000 in grant funding. Not loans, not donations. I'm talking about grants, free money that helped me launch schools, train hundreds of students, and build a multi-million-dollar spa business. And I didn't pretend to be a nonprofit. I didn't create a fake mission or slap some buzzwords into a brochure. I just told my truth. My business helps people move from minimum wage jobs to careers where they can earn six figures. If you're doing real work that makes a real impact, there is grant money out there for you. Now, don't go into this thinking it's going to be all sunshines and wire transfers, because it is not. Every agency has its own forms, timelines, acronyms, interviews, site visits, and yes, a mountain of paperwork. It can feel like you're in the middle of a government-sponsored obstacle course. But if you stay focused, clear, and aligned with what you're trying to accomplish, the money is there and it's absolutely worth it. One of my students went from working at Five Guys for 3 years to making $108,000 in just 7 months after getting licensed. Another used her training to launch her own massage therapy business. These aren't rare cases. This is what happens when you combine the right training with real opportunity, and funders love that. So how do you write a grant that actually gets funded? Here's what a strong application should include. First, you have to be very clear and define the problem. What's the issue you're solving? In my case, it was a shortage of licensed massage therapists in New Jersey. That's not just my opinion. It was backed by industry data showing the demand for massage therapists is growing much faster than the national average. Next, lay out a solution. How are you tackling the problem? I created a 700-hour state-approved massage therapy program that leads directly to licensure and employment. You need to show that your solution is not only real, it's ready to be executed. Then explain, who are you helping? Are you serving youths, veterans, women entering non-traditional fields, low-income adults looking for upskill? Funders want to see that you know exactly who your work impacts. Now, the part that often makes or breaks an application, your impact metric. Get specific. I might say, we will train 15 students this cycle and expect 80% licensure rates with 75% job placement within 6 months. That kind of detail shows that you're not just hopeful, you're strategic and result driven. And of course, you need a clear budget. Show exactly where the money is going. Tuition, exam fees, uniforms, clinics, supplies, insurance, job placement support. Break it all down. Funders don't want vague numbers. They want to know what their dollars are doing. I also included proof. I went above and beyond. Real testimonials from students, letters from employers, my school accreditations documents, photos from class, outcome data. If you can't prove your impact, it doesn't really exist on paper. And remember, grants are a trust exercise. Show that you're legit. I typically start by doing the research. I look into the funder's mission, I study who they funded last year, I take notes on the language they use so I can mirror it in my applications. If you understand their priorities, you can position yourself as the answer. Next, I build an outline. I never just open up a blank doc and start typing. I map it out first. Problem, solution, audience, impact, budget. I also have a master narrative, a kind of core story I've written and refined over the years. Every time I apply for a new grant, I tweak that story to fit the new application. It saves me hours. When I write, I keep it direct. I don't say, we hope to train. I say, we will train. I don't say, I think I'll be able to. I say, I will actually place 70% of these students. I don't say, I will help them get job placement. I say, I will make sure they are placed within 90 days of graduation. And finally, I attach anything that builds credibility. Data, letters, resumes, financials, photos, anything that says we're ready, we're proven, we just need the funding. Here's the big takeaway. Grants aren't charity, they're investments. If your business is creating jobs, helping people gain skills, or transforming lives in any way, there is money out there for you. You just need to learn how to speak the funder's language. If you're doing the work, you're already halfway there and you already have what it takes to get funded. Now just put it on paper. So here are a few lessons that I've learned. And to be honest, a lot of it was trial and error. You don't need to be a professional grant writer to get funded. In fact, oftentimes if you get denied by a grant, you can usually call your grant officer and ask them, why did I get denied? And they will tell you specifically why you got denied. And then guess what you can do with that information? Apply it to your next year's grant, because most of these grants, they get reissued year over year. And the only reason I know this is because I was on a trip with a friend and I was telling her, I was like, listen, I applied for this grant, I put in all this work and I got denied. And I was distraught about it. And she was saying, well, why did you get denied? I was like, I don't know why I got denied. She was like, well, did you ask them? I was like, I didn't know I could ask them. And she's like, well, yeah, you can. So I literally the next day I called them and they took 30 minutes. They detailed out, well, your budget didn't have this. We didn't understand what you meant here. We needed you to do this here. And guys, literally the next cycle was within 5 days. I redid my entire application based on the feedback that I received and I won the grant. The other thing you need to make sure, you just need to know your business inside and out. That means understanding not only what you do, but how it changed lives. If you can clearly show the impact you make, how you solve a real problem, you're already halfway there. And according to the SBA, fewer than 2% of small businesses apply for workforce grants, meaning 98% of owners are leaving money on the table. And we all know us small business owners need as much liquidity as possible. Too many people make the mistake of focusing on what they want. I need money for equipment. I need help with payroll. But here's the truth. Funders don't care about what you need. They care about solving a problem they're already identified. Your job is to show them how your business is that solution. And no, grants aren't free money, as I've been saying, in the lazy sense at least. You don't just collect the check and disappear. Grants come with expectations. You need structure, you need systems, you need follow through. I personally use Google Drive to organize all my grant documents, track deadlines, and store all required paperwork. I've built dashboards to monitor progress, how many students enrolled, how many completed, how many found jobs. I meet with my teams regularly to make sure we're hitting the targets we promise. That's how you build a fundable business via grants. Not just one your customers believe in, but one your state and even the federal government will invest in. Because when you get this right, your business doesn't just grow from sales. It grows from strategy, partnerships, and funding designed to make a difference. So don't wait to feel ready if you're already doing the work that matters. You're ready now. And if no one told you this yet, you're fundable. So yes, with all of this work, I was able to secure over $600,000 in grants to grow my business. And let me tell you, this is the kind of strategy they do not teach in business school. I know, I have an MBA. Most people never tap into it, not because it's out of reach, but because they just don't know and they don't know the right questions to ask. They think grants are just for nonprofits. They assume it's too complicated, or they never imagined their business could qualify. But if you're serious about growth, especially if you're already hiring, training, or helping people get back to work, grants can be a total game changer. It's not just about getting help, it's about building a business that funders want to support. If you want me to walk you through a real grant application, drop a comment or DM me. I'm Jen Clark and I help entrepreneurs build businesses that last and get paid to do it. Thanks for watching, guys.